Planning for retirement when you're working with couples does take a little bit into consideration. It's extremely common that I will get together and the two different spouses maybe have a little bit of different goals and objectives of when it comes to retirement time. Maybe one of the spouses is, ready to turn in their resignation letter tomorrow, and the other spouse, could be significantly scared. In the scenario of, helping out hundreds and thousands of families over the course of my past 30 years, there's some different things that can be done to help take what could be terrifying and turn it into something that can be exactly what you dreamed for your entire retirement. Get things to work together, be able to have both spouses kind of working together to achieve some of the outcomes that they have. What you have is a little bit, I think, of a worriness of, are we retirement ready, right? So the biggest goal that we have is the worry about outliving our income. So if you have that spouse that's kind of terrified of retirement, they probably haven't gotten to the point of understanding where they're at in their confidence level, and they want to go through some planning process of being able to put those pieces together as well. Your retirement readiness is going to depend upon a couple of important factors. Number one, what is your relationship with work, right? Do you love going to work or do you hate going to work? And I think that can have a big impact on when your readiness is, right? I see people all the time that are financially secure. They could retire, but they love what they do, so they choose not to. And then I see other people that if they could just get out of there tomorrow, they hate where they work and they're ready to retire, and they know that as well. The other factor that comes into play a lot of times for retirement readiness is your health and your energy level. I think the statistic that I saw was, somewhere in the neighborhood of about 40% of people get forced into retirement earlier than they expected because of a healthcare related issue that came up. Your financial confidence, again, looking at your financial confidence and having a written retirement income plan can be a good way to do that. You'd want to have a vision of what your retirement looks like. Most of the retirees that I look and work with aren't sitting at the porch watching life go by. They're actively out playing pickleball, they're traveling, they're doing the things that they want to do and having the ability to shut the alarm clock off. Think about, your health care, not only how to get the proper health insurance, what it's going to cost you, but down the road, how to protect you if you or your loved one, needs some type of long-term care. And I think the cost of not addressing these issues are, what can create one partner to maybe pull away and have more stress, ignoring some of the mismatches. It's extremely common that I'll have a couple. Maybe the husband would want to be more aggressive and the wife be more conservative. But when you build out and you're building a household plan, you've got to be able to, take both of those into consideration. And oftentimes it works out just fine because in a traditional retirement plan that we work with, we like to have conservative investments in a plan. We like to have growth investments in a plan. So you could kind of tailor those investment choices based upon those individuals. You don't want to have somebody who's maybe pressured into feeling that they need to retire. In fact, working a couple more years can really boost up your retirement savings. If you do, love what you do, there's nothing wrong with continuing to do that for a while. The financial decisions that you make ultimately can get, pushed off that you could miss what is the ideal time as well. I had a scenario where I was talking with a couple down from our Florida office, and he had mentioned to me that he was offered a severance package. In essence, he was getting ready to retire anyways. He kind of went back and forth about taking the retirement severance package. He missed the deadline and ultimately missed out on the retirement severance package. But, because he didn't have all of those financial ducks in a row beforehand. The delayed financial decision ended up being a costly one. And those costly decisions and all those other areas ultimately can create stress about, fighting about money, what is going to be the household schedule, what type of social activities are out there. And in fact, I think in worst case scenario, if you think about gray divorce, divorce rates for couples over the age 50 have doubled in the past 30 years. And I think that retirement transition can be one of the factors inside of there. So how are you going to navigate and how are you going to put it together? I really call it retirement readiness, making sure that you have it put together in your situation. What you want to do is you want to really address your own readiness, and you can do it individually between the two. So you want to have no influence on the other person. You can write down your own goals. You can write down whatever your health considerations are. Write down what your vision and your goals are for retirement. Talk about what some of your biggest fears are. What are your concerns? And just, realize there isn't any right or wrong reason. It's about, understanding what each person truly wants to have accomplished. Then you want to have a productive discussion. I think this is an area where having an advisor, of working with somebody like us or an advisor, is able to kind of structure the conversation and help you build out that plan to make it where you're putting things together based upon everybody's individual goals and objectives and having a coordinated plan. And then we develop what is called a retirement team action plan. In that retirement team action plan, what we're then doing is we're building out the bridges of those different strategies to help with creating a timeline of when to phase in the retirement, what maybe transitioning into retirement could look like. Maybe you end up doing some consulting work. Maybe you'd want to know what does the numbers look like if you delay retirement for 1 or 2 years. You're going to look at the financial considerations that it has. What are the strategies you're going to take to replace income? If you're not going to get up and go to work every day, how do you transition your 401k into an income replacement vehicle? What does your spending plan look like in retirement time? Identify any other, type of issues that you would see where there's maybe, I call them threats that we talk about. So going through this scenario and working through the process, this is usually what happens when we put the retirement team action plan together. Is they get really to a point where they feel very confident about making that decision. Even if they don't pull the trigger and go ahead and retire, they know that they have their retirement readiness put together and their ability to retire is on their terms. And then also working on developing a custom plan, it's a great way to have couples navigate finances together. So it's okay. Just realize that you both probably have some different comfort levels with risk. You both have maybe a little bit of a different vision of goal about retirement time. But that's what, again, the team here at America's Retirement Headquarters can help you navigate that landscape of what lies ahead.